What a beautiful day. Everything here is so familiar. But I can't help but wonder if it was a bad decision to come here again. No, I can't let myself think that. Just because last time I was here I had some kind of whirlwind romance and was nearly prepared to leave everything I knew to run away forever with. Enough. I'm going to enjoy the trip and see all the sights again and make them mine. So I don't just think about you whenever I remember this place. But before I get to side trip and sightseeing planning, I'm going to have a cold orange soda and sit right here on the plaza under this umbrella and just watch. I know I needed a vacation. Even my mother didn't know what possessed me to come back here of all places. She didn't know even half of what happened last time. But she knew enough to know that it didn't make sense I'd come back here again. My avoidant personality makes itself known to everyone, I suppose. It's still early. The market stalls are mostly full of local people instead of tourists looking for snacks and souvenirs. It's funny. I don't think if you asked me last week if I remembered the people working the stalls here that I could have said I did. And yet now that I see them, every one of them is familiar to me. Just like the taste of this soda. And the feeling of the sun on my toes. The fit of these sandals, which I haven't worn since. Two years ago, I was here on spring break. By myself. On purpose. I had originally planned to spend my last spring break of college with my boyfriend, but he'd broken up with me 2 weeks prior to break and was already planning a road trip with his new girlfriend. So I just went online and booked a trip. One of the first ones I saw. Someplace warm and vibrant and old. And I ended up here, enjoying myself in the sunshine. Planning to see all the sights and come back with a camera roll full of beautiful memories. And I did. But most of the photos were of you. I hadn't been looking to find anyone on the trip. Least of all you. Not even a friend. I was so hurt that I thought some alone time would be best for me. I was still struck with crying Jags a lot of the time. It was difficult for me even to deal with people in a friendly way unless it was something just entirely professional. Like, I could be nice to the front desk clerk if they were only asking what kind of room I wanted or if I needed extra towels. But if even a bartender asked me if everything was all right, even if they only meant if the drink was okay, I'd lose it. So that night when you found me at this outdoor cafe on this square, I wasn't looking for you. I didn't expect a new friend. I especially didn't expect a new lover. Something so intense. It was beautiful. It was incredible. It was terrifying. You were down on spring break too, from a different university, different state, a different life. And that night, You walked up and asked me why I looked so sad. It hadn't occurred to me to look any way else. But instead of sending you off with a lecture about minding your own business or covering it up with pretty lies, I told you the truth. I invited you to sit down, and I told you the truth. All of it. The whole sad, awful story of how I believed in him and everything he said, and how it turned out that what he said to me and what he did just didn't match up at all. I remember I apologized to you at the end of the story. Several drinks in, my face an absolute mess. I think I'd gone through a dozen drink napkins worth of tears. But you didn't mind. You just looked at me with your kind eyes, and you told me that sometimes bad things happen, and sometimes it's just your job to be there for the person the bad things happen to. To make sure they knew they weren't alone. You see, I felt alone with my ex a lot, even when we were together. I never felt alone with you. We stood up, and you took my hand, and you hugged me. And that hug was full of so much warmth and caring. I didn't know that someone could restore faith for me so quickly. But you did. I never missed my ex once after that. The week we had together was wonderful, but too short. You had come down on your own, not to forget something, but for adventure. I remember at one point, the day after we met, I apologized for derailing your vacation. But you told me that being there with me was as much adventure as you could ever have hoped for. And you kissed me. We went hiking and sailing and fishing, swimming and dancing and walking by the beach at night to see the bioluminescence there. I remember it lighting up your smile in the most beautiful way. I remember how gentle you were with me. You never rushed me into anything, but I wanted to rush into things with you. I had never felt so incredibly right about anyone before. It was wonderful. It was ecstatic. Better than anything I'd ever experienced. And it frightened me. By the end of the week, you were hinting around about an invitation back to my city and making sure your phone number was saved in my phone, and I was scared. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, even though my brain was telling me there was no reason to expect it, that you hadn't done anything wrong and I shouldn't be so cynical. I'm sure part of it was me wondering if someone as wonderful as you deserved to be just a rebound. I knew you didn't, and I was terribly afraid I would make you one. So, when we parted at the airport, I never answered your last text. I never answered any of them. I knew you were hurt. I could tell by your words. For a while, you kept calling occasionally, leaving me nice messages about how things were going. But eventually the texts and messages stopped. Right after you graduated. I know you were planning on going to grad school in the same city you had been in. I know that you wanted me to come out there and visit you. I read all of your texts and listened to all of your messages so many times. But I was frozen. I couldn't reply. I was afraid I would say something wrong or scare you off, or that you'd have erased my number and wouldn't know who was contacting you. And that would have been just terrible. But it's been a couple years now. I have a job. It's fine. It's nothing I really care about, but it's fine. I have friends, and a little apartment, and a little life bordered with my bus pass, 3 houseplants, and my savings account. Which one day I realized I needed to spend. I needed to return here. You see, you're all I think about. And I'm sure you've forgotten about me by now. Or if you haven't, I'm just a nice thought that drifts in and out of your mind at once every few months in between the exciting things you're studying and the amazing people you're meeting. And Christ, I miss you. I'm so sorry. I should have called. I should have texted. I messed everything up. So that's why I'm here. To erase the memory of you if I can. I'm going to do the things we did, but alone. To remind myself that I can. I'm trying to ignore the excessively noisy part of my brain that's telling me it was right here, and it was this time of year that we met. And maybe you're missing me too. And maybe you've forgiven me for everything that I did and didn't do. There's no reason this plan of redoing the trip won't work. The orange soda was nice. Time to get a move on. It's you. It's really you?